All right, vocab, legal, and judicial. So we got a couple of examples here. I always like to start off with, okay, vocab is word knowledge. That is one of the four sections that make up your ASVAB score. They're all weighted the same, which means 25% of your score is vocab. And so this is a good chance to improve your score by one, getting better vocabulary, but also knowing how to kind of attack these when we don't know what the word means, right? How we can go about doing that. So that's really what a lot of these videos are about, is what to do when we don't know what the word means. As far as improving your vocabulary, if you only do one thing, read 15 minutes a day. So you read 15 minutes a day, try to pick something that's interesting to you so that you'll actually keep doing it. If you pick something that's really boring to you, is you probably won't keep reading for more than like a couple days or something. So that's first, read. And so if you can pick something that's military oriented, like a blog or a periodical, something like that, is all the better. There will be more words that show up that have some sort of military uh, impact or basis. Okay, if you're going to do something else, spend more time in the Whip Smart app. Right, we got lots of questions and lots of practice to build that vocabulary of words that tend to show up a lot. Okay, so let's go over these two. Negligible most nearly means, and then we have four answer choices. Okay, so we're looking at negligible, right? So perhaps you know what it means. And if you do, and if you know what all these four answer choices mean, then pretty easy. Okay, but if you don't, pretty hard. So let's go over the part if you don't. Okay, and even if you do, it's worth paying attention so that you know what to do when you get words that you don't know. Okay, negligible most nearly means. So when I'm looking at, if I don't know what negligible means, rather than just guessing, what I'm going to do first is look at the answer choices and see, do any of the answer choices, are there two of them that mean like the same or very similar things? If there are, and oftentimes there are, I can eliminate those two, right? Because if they're really similar, they're not both, it's going to be impossible to know which one is right. Okay, so let's look at these. Weak, significant, trivial, noteworthy. Okay, so trivial could possibly throw somebody off, but trivial would mean really like not important, not all that significant. Okay, um, weak, I don't see anything to do here, but significant and noteworthy, those two words, significant and noteworthy, are very, very similar. Okay, so if something is significant, is it was a big achievement, or like something that I took note of, noteworthy, very similar, right? So again, I'm being forced to guess here in this situation where I'm trying to eliminate things that it seems unlikely that that's the answer. So it just seems unlikely to me that significant would be the answer, but noteworthy was not, or vice versa. So I'm eliminating both of those. Okay, so good, right? We already got it down to 50-50, right? And then we're down to weak and trivial. And if you don't know what negligible means, is you're probably not going to be able to eliminate this third one. Okay, so it does end up that it's trivial, right? Trivial, and then it's not weak. So we go into our answer key. Where are you, trivial? Do we have trivial in here? Oh, negligible. Right, so we got that right there. Negligible means unimportant. Okay, so that's very similar to trivial, also unimportant, not a big deal. Um, so that's how we would do the first one, right? But at least we should have been able to get rid of noteworthy and significant, right? And if we do that, and we do that on several questions, if we get it down to 50-50 rather than just 25% chance, 1 in 4 of just guessing at it, is we'll get a better score. No question about it. Okay, the lawsuit was frivolous. Frivolous. Okay, so another one, a lot of times people have heard this word, but they're not really sure what it means when it gets down to it. So let's say the same thing. Let's say we don't know what frivolous means. Okay, could it be purpose? So we're doing the same exact thing, right? Are there answers that we can eliminate. Purposeful, weak, strong, carefree. Okay. So the words that I see there that are similar that we should be able to eliminate are purposeful and strong. They're too similar, right? It's not that, if I don't know what frivolous means, could it be strong? Sure, it could. Could it mean purposeful? Sure. But purposeful could mean practically anything, you know? Um, those both seem like words that could apply to legal and judicial terms, right? But if something is purposeful, like it's probably like if it was like a purposeful uh, statement or paper or whatever, is it also strong? Like probably. It's going to be hard to differentiate those two. And so because of that, and given, because all my only other options are just to completely guess, there's a pretty good chance neither of these are the answer. Okay, so we've done the same thing. We got it down to 50-50. Okay, weak and carefree, those don't really necessarily mean the same thing, right? And then if you don't know, then you probably just have to guess, right? So it does end up frivolous relates to carefree more. Let's see if our answer key can help us. Right, the very next one down there. Frivolous is an adjective that means characterized by a lack of seriousness or sense. Lack of seriousness, carefree. Yeah, that's going to be the answer that we go with. Okay, so two things, right? Now you know frivolous means lack of seriousness or carefree, right? So there's a word that could show up, and hopefully we can be committing that one to our minds, right? All these practice ones are words that do show up a lot. And your other part, just as important, right? Because there are going to be words, at least a few, that show up where you don't know what they mean, right? Is to be able to get rid of the answer choices that don't make any sense, right? Because they're too similar. That's how we get rid of answer choices. They're too similar.